Well, hello, welcome back. Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger on June 18, 2023. It's Juneteenth, and those of you that celebrate this, I hope you guys stay safe, have a good time. We're seeing a little bit of a colder weather. Last night, in the middle of the night, I actually woke up and I was freezing. Like, I honestly contemplated getting out of bed to go find my space heater to plug it in. That's how cold it was. It's crazy. Oh, let's hope that we don't get that too often. I mean, this is the kind of weather when people get sick. Warm weather one day, cold weather the next day, warm weather the next day. Yeah, don't like it. But I guess this is good for people who are struggling with a wildfire situation. A little bit of rain, hopefully a cooler temperature will help put out those fire or at least bring them under control a little bit more. So today, I want to talk a little bit about a little principle for success. We're going to do another little self-help uh, video, and today we're going to explore the principle of the blue sea versus the red sea. What is the principle of the blue sea and the Red Sea? Well, to put it simply, blue sea, when you are trying to find your career, when you're trying to find your niche, blue sea is when you go into somewhere, when you go toward the area where not many people hang out, not many people are going, somewhere unexplored, somewhere new, somewhere that doesn't look very attractive at first. That's the blue sea. The Red Sea, it's a place that everyone's going. It's the trendiest of new opportunity. Right now, for example, there's this big push for AI, and everyone want to get into using AI to make money. Okay, so AI right now is the Red Sea, uh, while something like, well, I don't know, arts and culture might be blue sea, some lesser tread ground. Now, a lot of self-help books, a lot of uh, motivational speeches and TED Talks will tell you that you need to observe people's success and then you follow in their footsteps. So you watch all these videos on YouTube on what's making money, how people making money, and then you go and do exactly what they do. And that's how you make money. Because after all, you copy success and you'll be successful, right? Not so much. Okay. For every person that succeed, there's 100, 1,000, 10,000 people that fail. The Red Sea, my friend, the Red Sea is red because it's filled with the blood of all those creatures, people that didn't make it. So when you jump into the Red Sea, you are literally in a circumstance where it's the survival of the fittest. And you got to be honest with yourself. Are you the fittest? Are you even near being one of the fittest? Because if not, then you throwing yourself into the Red Sea, you mingling in with the big guns, when you following the trend where everybody go, you are just adding to the quota. You're just sacrificing yourself so others can climb to success on your back. If that's the case, then staying with the blue sea might actually be much more advantageous for you because while the blue sea is unexplored, there's no clear guidance on where to go. At least there's not a lot of competition. There's not a lot of predators and predatory behavior that you have to worry about. When your friend or when you have a relative or somebody, friend, relative, family member, someone you meet on the internet that whisper in your ear, "Hey, there's this way of making money. Everybody's doing it." That's when you want to start paying attention to your uh, your danger sense, your spider sense, because this is when danger is very near you. Right? Why do people tell you? Why do people tell you of an opportunity that everybody knows? Everybody is a great way to make money. How come they're telling you and they are not making money themselves? Okay? You got to think about that. Now, maybe this is a good friend. If this come from a really trusted source, then I say, well, okay, no, research about it, look into it, but still keep your guard up because most of the time, what's happening in the Red Sea area of success, in the Red Sea area of business, of ventures, of projects, of uh, 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 different investments. What's happening in the Red Sea is some people they find that they are struggling themselves, and the only way for them to get ahead is to bring in the newest sucker. eh? It's a very simple psychology. It's a very simple psychological trick in uh, warfare, in business, in any kind of competitive field. If I can't handle butting head with a big guy, then I throw a weaker guy in front of the big guy. So while the big guy is chowing down on the little guy, I run ahead. Okay, so this is why a lot of time people get tricked into uh, joining the competition, running with the pack, following the trend, throwing themselves head and shoulder and full body into the Red Sea because they got suckered in by someone who all they want to do is bring in a new prey for the big dogs to feed on. And in this case, that prey, that new prey is you. Let me give you a more real example of something like this, right? Uh, Pyramid scheme is one of those prime example of people trying to talk you into something uh, purely for their own survival, for their own success. Cutco, for example, okay, the famous knife brand that come to your house and try to sell you this $500 knife. And Cutco is a great example of something that been around for a long time. A lot of people will tell you they're really successful, their knives are really expensive, the knife look really good. But you got to ask yourself, why aren't they selling in stores? Because Cutco survive on chowing down on the small fries. Cutco, companies like Cutco, they survive on lure you in, sinking the hook into you, and hopefully bring you into the fold so you have to help sell their knife, and then the higher level up they benefit while you at the bottom you try and try and try to climb to the top. And how do you climb to the top? You have to sucker in more people. The more people you sucker in, the higher on the totem you get. So this is a very uh, realistic, very factual Red Sea mentality in the corporate world. So always, always watch out for that. Perhaps throughout human history, one of the greatest example I can show you of why the Red Sea mentality is very dangerous, is very counterproductive, is the Californian gold rush. which happened in 1848 and lasted all the way to 1855. Yes, it only lasted about 7 to 8 years, but thousands, hundreds of thousands of people died during the Californian gold rush. How did this gold rush get started? Well, the story was that there was a farmer who one day when he was walking along his farm, he saw something glinting in one of the stream on his farm, one of the water sources on his farm, and he investigated and he found this massive lump of gold. And that's when he realized that the whole area, you don't even have to dig underground for gold. Gold was just laying in the river. So this was back in 1848 in California. So this farmer uh, told his workers on his farm, uh, we need to buy up all the nearby land. We are going to get rich. Don't you guys tell anybody. Well, the moment you tell people not to tell anybody, you know they are going to tell somebody. Right? So his worker told their family told their friend, and next thing you know, there's this big rush of people from all over the country, not just all over the country, all over the world, rushing into California to get these free gold. Now you gotta remember that back then, uh, there's no easy transportation. Never mind from New York to California, from Texas to California, but across the world, people coming from Ireland, people from Scotland, people from Spain, people from China. Uh, those journeys were highly dangerous, highly dangerous. So a lot of people braved this journey to come to the land of gold, thinking that they were going to make it rich. Did they make it rich? Yeah, the first few probably did, but pretty soon gold ran out. Now, some of you that haven't really blown up on your history, you might think, well, there must be a good amount of them that made it rich. How many people would it have take to clear out the gold? There must be so much gold that it's all over the riverbed and stream, right? So everybody come and they should get some. Let's say every person just get 10 pounds of gold, then they can be super rich. Let me put it into perspective for you guys. Just one of the numbers. We are not going to just sit here and look at the whole, like how many people from India came here, how many people from Scotland came here, how many people from New York came here. Let me just give you one example. Uh, just from southern China. Okay, I'm not talking about the whole China. I'm talking about the southern China, mostly from the Fujian province. Fujian province alone there were 300,000 Chinese people that arrived in California for the gold rush. 300,000 people. Okay? Get, try to just imagine that. 1848. 300,000 Chinese people from southern China landed in California to dig for gold, to look for gold. And that's just from that one province alone. So you can imagine with that amount of people looking for gold everywhere, there's a lot of murder, there's a lot of backstabbing, there's a lot of civil unrest, there's a lot of stealing, robbing, mugging, there's a lot of disease because back then medical wasn't very good. When you have that many people, hundreds of thousands, millions of people congregating into one area, disease happen, pestilence happen, and not many of them got gold. Okay, even the ones that were lucky enough to get some gold, the gold they got did not even make up for medical bills, for food expenses, for paying their way home. That's why a lot of them ended up staying in the US. They couldn't even afford to go home. And they came all the way, risking their life, risking the life of their family, and what did they get in the end? Maybe 2, 3 pounds of gold, maybe not even that. Right? So many people, millions of people, jumped into this gold rush, this Red Sea that was a gold rush. Not many of them made it out alive. Not many of them got what they were looking for. This is what happened when you follow that Red Sea mentality. Unless you were the first, unless you were one of the first, unless you are the best, unless you are one of the best, don't even think about it. You're just going to be, you're just going to become free human sacrifice. Now, of course, it's not always separated. Okay, it's not always like Red Sea is here, Blue Sea is there. You go there, I go here. It's always not that cut and dry. It's not always that clear. Again, let me employ the use of the gold rush example to show you guys how sometimes the Blue Sea and the Red Sea is just one line separating them. While the hundreds of thousands, millions of people that came looking for gold in California, while many of them failed, many of them died, many of them went broke, there were quite a few people who actually made it through the gold rush and made a fortune. One such person didn't look for gold. One such person decided that, hey, so many people out there scrambling up and down the mountains looking for gold, and their pants are always getting shredded. So why don't I take these denim and make tougher pants for people, so more people will have an easier time when they're out there in the wilderness looking for gold. This gentleman, yes, you guessed it, his name was Levi. And he's the first person that came up with what we know as blue jeans today. Okay, so Levi was one such person. He saw where the blue sea was. And the Red Sea was everybody's looking for gold. He stayed away from that. He saw his opportunity. Oh, hey, everyone's getting their pen torn up and no one's making better pens. Let me see what I can do. He invented his own blue sea situation right on the back of the a Red Sea scenario, which was the gold rush. Similar example can be seen with people who went into hairdresser, barbers, food industry, even I hate to say this, but even prostitution. There were a lot of people piggybacking on the suckers that went to look for gold. People who served them food, people who sold them clothes, people who sold them supplies, people who sold them guns, people who sold them tools, people who sold dynamite. These were the people that saw where the Red Sea, where was the cutoff for the Red Sea, and where the Blue Sea began. They very clearly saw their opportunity and then they went for it when no one else saw things their way. These were the people that were successful. These were the people that made it through the gold rush. So while it is good to hear people's success story, it is not always good to follow in people's footsteps. Okay, if a successful person, if two successful people, if 10 successful people already went down that path, then I'm sorry, you don't want to go there because they cleared it out already. Okay, it's like if everyone telling you that, hey, there's an orchard with a lot of really good fruits. We've been going there, and the whole town's been going there. You might as well stay home. You might as well go look for your own orchard. Because by the time you get there, there's nothing left. All the good stuff is gone. So really, even though the Blue Sea looked like a gamble at times. It looked like hard work. It looked like no one's doing things your way that must be bad. That's not always the case. Sometimes being the first person to break new ground counts for a lot. Before I end this video, let me use my own private life, my own career, the things that I have gotten involved into, as a prime example for you guys. A lot of people ask me, so how come you don't focus more on your music? How come you don't focus more on being a counselor, on your counseling? My answer is simple because counseling and music, while I love doing them, that's Red Sea. That's Red Sea territory right there. Okay? I am not the first blind musician. I am not the best blind musician. Heck, if I ask you if I ask you to name me some blind musician, you already can name probably 10 best ones in the world. And those are only the ones that have been recognized. Let me tell you, and I'm not even exaggerating, the musical talent among blind people is so amazingly deep. The water is so amazingly deep that if you get me, Johnny Tiger, sitting together with 30 other blind people, and you say, okay, let's see who's the better musician, Johnny Tiger wouldn't even make it into the top 15. That's how crazy it is. And I'm not talking about famous people. I'm talking about any blind people. You get random, you go pick random 30 blind people, put them in a room with Johnny Tiger. Half of them is going to be better musician than Johnny Tiger. And like I said, I'm not even exaggerating. That's how deep the water is when it comes to music for blind people. And it makes sense. A lot of people grow up having nothing else to do than play music, right? They didn't commit their life to other things like martial art, girls, boyfriends, going out for movies, other stuff like things that Johnny Tiger did. Well, not the boyfriend part. But anyway, so music is Red Sea for me. I saw that very early on. I did music, yes. I had some success, yes, but I never had the delusion that I would make it big in the music industry because it's simply too deep. The water is simply too deep. Now let's look at counseling. Now you say, well, Johnny Tiger, you're doing this Soul Search Sunday. You have brought up some good points here and there. You're obviously pretty decent at your psychology and sociology. You should be a pretty good counselor, right? Well, while I will say I am decent at my job, but that's also Red Sea territory. And let me tell you why. Because counseling, psychology, sociology has long been viewed as one of the very few jobs that blind people can do, one of the very few fields blind people can do. It's one of those things where, if you are blind and you're graduating high school, a lot of people are going to say, you need to go into psychology because you don't need your eyes. All you have to do is listen. And that is kind of true, right? So there are a lot of blind people out there with 3 or 4 master's degree in psychology, child psychology, sociology, criminology, 3 or 4 master's degree. I can't compete with that. I don't even have one single master's degree. I can't compete with that. I knew that. I know that. So I have always been thankful with what little success I got in music and in counseling, but I recognize that I am but a small fry in those area. But hold on a second, that's not me uh, putting myself down. No, because there are other areas where Johnny Tiger is the shit. Right? There are other areas where Johnny Tiger is the bomb, is the alpha. Where? Martial art. Yes, there are many, many other martial artists out there. But let me ask you, other than Johnny Tiger, how many blind martial artists can you name in this world? And how many of them And Daredevil doesn't count. Okay, Daredevil doesn't count. How many of them can you name, and how many of them are truly, truly good at their martial art, right? And on top of that, how many blind people even practice martial art seriously in any kind of competitive capacity? Yeah, we have some Paralympian judo, we have some Paralympian uh, wrestling, and stuff like that. And I'm not down talking them, but have you guys ever looked into when these Paralympian judo people they go and compete? How many are they actually up against? I hate to tell you this, a lot of time, two or three. Okay? Which means if you are only up against two people, then you're guaranteed a medal. You're going to get gold, silver, or bronze. You don't even have to try. You're going to get bronze, right? Again, it's because it's a very small pool. And in this pool, Johnny Tiger shines. Because I am a very good blind martial artist. Even if you put aside the blind part, I am pretty decent as a martial artist, period. So this is my blue sea. I went into a field where not many blind people dare to tread. In my art, a lot of you have seen my tactile art. By now I've been posting them on this channel. How many other tactile artists have you seen? Blind tactile artists. How many other have you heard of? Again, blue sea, totally. And where I am the star. If you want to go online and look for tactile artists, blind tactile artists, I am it for now. For now, I am it. Why did Johnny Tiger go into making videos, making films, making movies, making YouTube videos, uh, rather than sticking with podcasts? Because there are thousands of blind people out there making podcasts. But I dare say you will not find another blind YouTuber as prolific at making video as Johnny Tiger. So that is my little real person demonstration of Blue Sea, Red Sea. And I did music, I did counseling, but those were not Blue Sea area for Johnny Tiger. Where Johnny Tiger finds the Blue Sea, finds success, it's in things, in breaking new ground where other blind, visually impaired people have not tread. I hope that this episode is useful for some of you somewhere in your life. And I thank you for being here, and I will be back again tomorrow for some Music Monday. For now, have a good night.